Israel is under pressure to dial back its campaign against Hamas as the conflict enters an 11th week. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is in Israel hoping to get a timetable for the nation's next steps to dismantle Hamas and reduce civilian casualties.
And joining us now from Tel Aviv is ABC News correspondent Britt Clennett. Britt, it is good to see you. And we'll start with this question. Israeli forces accidentally killed 3 hostages in Gaza over the weekend. How could something so tragic like this happen?
Yeah, hi, Eva and DeMarco. Exactly the question that the public here is asking. What went wrong? Those hostages, they came out with a white cloth tied to a stick. 2 of them were shot and killed. And then the 3rd one ran into the building, shouted help in Hebrew, and was still killed despite orders to stop shooting. This is all according to an IDF preliminary report. Israel says the men were perceived as a threat. The IDF spokesperson I spoke to, he said, you know, it's a chaotic battlefield. Combat in open terrain is one of the most challenging and really dynamic environments known to man. And that's why, he said, we have also issued guidance to all of the troops on the ground. So really more questions than answers at this stage, but I've spoken to hostage families, and guys, they're really angry. You know, they're saying, we knew this would have happened, and this is exactly why they're pushing for a deal before more of their loved ones are killed.
Now, Britt, Israeli leaders are being urged to outline these next steps in this war with Hamas. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is there. What kind of answers is he looking for?
Well, U.S. officials say Austin will ask to minimize the human toll, you know, stop this heavy bombardment that we're seeing in Gaza. Guys, the casualties are mounting every single day. We're looking at 19,400 people dead, more than 7,000 children. Utter devastation in Gaza right now. So the U.S. wants a de-escalation. It wants to scale back the offensive by Israel. And it really, probably Austin will want to see plans as to how Israel is going to do that, how and when. Israel, though, appears to be very much steadfast in its mission to destroy, to eradicate Hamas and Hamas capabilities, including its huge network of tunnels.
And we were talking about the hostage situation there. What more is being done to negotiate the release of those hostages?
So we know that CIA Director Bill Burns is joining the Mossad Director and Qatari PM in Warsaw right now to push for a hostage deal. And in late November, Burns traveled to Doha as part of these kind of ongoing negotiations to bring the hostages home. But Prime Minister Netanyahu, he's under intense pressure because of those, the deaths of those 3 hostages, to accept some kind of ceasefire. Israeli officials have also confirmed new negotiations are underway in Brussels, but really Israelis, the view from here is not very optimistic that there will be any kind of deal struck and any kind of optimistic outcome.
And Britt, across the globe, there are growing calls for a ceasefire. Any signs of a truce, another truce?
Well, again, it's very much tied to those negotiations, but time is running out. You know, you have to consider that this is bombardment for many weeks now, and the situation in Gaza is getting increasingly grim. You know, there is one crossing that has been opened, the Kerem Shalom. It's doubling the amount of food and medicine reaching Gaza from Israel, but frankly, it's just not enough. It is a drop in the ocean. After 10 weeks, this is fertile ground for disease. You know, these areas are crowded, infrastructure's been flattened, there's barely any electricity, people are starving, and the WHO, it's worried about a whole, you know, slew of infections, of diseases, chickenpox, meningitis, measles, food poisoning, you name it, they're all on the rise. So the situation is growing increasingly dire, and the international community is growing more frustrated and frankly kind of more angry at Israel for not accepting a ceasefire and not pausing this fighting we're seeing in Gaza.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that humanitarian crisis that you just mentioned there in Gaza. You mentioned that one pathway in and out. Are there enough supplies, both medical and food, getting in? And is that even helpful right now with everything going on?
It's really not. It's trickling in at a rate that, you know, when I speak to aid officials, they say, you know, it's just papering over the cracks. It's really not doing enough. There is a alarm sounding over what's going on in Gaza, and things absolutely need to change. And I think that's why we're seeing U.S. officials, high-profile visits in the region, because they really need to be able to put the pressure on Israel to halt what's happening in Gaza right now.
All right, we're glad you're safe when the world is watching. ABC News foreign correspondent Britt Clennett, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.